происходит бунт.
We have a riot here. Fricking great. Russian media report that in the Novosibirsk region of Russia, 12 soldiers trashed a military unit and escaped.
Происходит бунт. 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 Юху! Заебло все. Базара нет. Базара нет. Базара нет.
In the Zaporozhye direction, the Russian invaders are actively preparing offensive actions in an attempt to expand the front. However, the Ukrainian defenders in Zaporozhye are also preparing a counteroffensive. Ihor Kozy, an expert on military issues of the Institute of Euro-Atlantic Cooperation, told Obaz.ua about this. In his opinion, the offensive on Zaporozhye is a matter of time. The offensive is constantly being prepared. If you think that we are not preparing it, then you are mistaken. We are also preparing an offensive. The question is when this offensive will take place, he said. As Mr. Kozy explained, the Ukrainian counteroffensive actions in 2023 were not fully prepared, because of which we lost more than we won. That is why the Ukrainian military is currently waiting, preparing for offensive actions in full. The Russians are preparing in the same way. They clearly understand that they are being beaten in the Donetsk and Luhansk directions. They are not succeeding in everything in the Kursk region. That is why they are trying to expand the front, to attract all our reserves. That is why they are trying to organize another offensive only on Zaporozhye, the expert noted. But the Russians are currently unable to organize a defense breakthrough and advance much further into our territory. This is even theoretically impossible because, firstly, it is impossible to do it unexpectedly, and secondly, there is a certain parity in forces. There won't be a surprise, as someone says. It's just unrealistic today. Just as it's unrealistic for us to squeeze them in that direction today without serious training in weapons, equipment, and personnel, Mr. Kozy is confident. He also noted that the superiority of the Russians in the number of military equipment is not really an advantage. The level of modern weapons practically excludes the use of massed tank attacks by motorized rifle troops. In fact, today only infantry is used. Infantry as a unit. That is, they go in a bunch, a drone hovers over them, they run in different directions. The drone selects one or another target. Hit, miss, got together, moved on. This is, in principle, their tactics, said Mr. Kozy. So, according to him, the Ukrainian defenders only have to monitor the movement of significant groups of invaders along the front line in order to prevent a surprise attack. As reported by Oboz.ua, Russia is preparing to fight in 2025 with a large number of manpower. We have to prepare for this as well, adapting our combat tactics to the enemy's constant meat assaults. Ukraine's task now is to accumulate a maximum of resources for entering a new phase of the war. North Korean troops dispatched to Russia have moved to the frontline region of Kursk and are already engaging in combat against Ukraine, South Korea's spy agency said Wednesday. North Korean soldiers dispatched to Russia have moved to the Kursk region over the past 2 weeks, and their deployment to battlefields has been completed, the National Intelligence Service said. It said work is underway to gather and analyze additional intelligence without providing further details. The United States has confirmed that most of the more than 10,000 North Korean soldiers sent to Russia have moved to the far western Kursk region, where they have begun engaging in combat against Ukraine. Moscow film The Return held the line by himself for 3 weeks without food and water, no helmet, etc., but has a cell phone charger for a little movie.
Good morning. I really do not know what to do anymore. I am standing right here boldly, near the cemetery. The whole area is destroyed, devastated. I stood in this hole trying to help Ivan Alexeyevich. Strangely, neither side seems interested. They see guilt, honey seeps through. Something screeching like crazy. Maybe hide it away. That's how we live.
Russia's oldest and biggest movie studio, Mosfilm, donated dozens of Soviet-era tanks and other armored vehicles to the Russian army last year, its CEO said during a meeting with President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday. Mosfilm storage facilities housed 28 T-55 tanks, 8 PT-76 light tanks, 6 infantry fighting vehicles, and other military equipment, according to the company's chief executive, Karen Shakhnazarov. "I learned that there was a need, contacted the defense ministry, and they took these vehicles," Shakhnazarov told Putin in a meeting at the Kremlin. It was not immediately clear if any of the Soviet-era tanks had already been deployed to the battlefield in Ukraine. However, open-source intelligence groups that track Russian and Ukrainian military equipment losses have previously reported Moscow sending outdated tanks to the front lines. Russia sends obsolete tanks to battle in Ukraine amid staggering artillery losses. Shakhnazarov also boasted Wednesday that Mosfilm had donated 6 million rubles, $60,900, for Russia's war needs so far in 2024. Founded in 1924, Mosfilm is known for having produced Soviet cinema classics such as Alexander Nevsky and Moscow Does Not Believe in Tears. Russian Marines on a buggy approaching Ukrainian positions run into a mine and went airborne. Russian Marines on a buggy approaching Ukrainian positions run into a mine and went airborne. Russian spokeswoman Maria Zakharova says the talks of peace will become real when the West stops weapon supplies to Ukraine. In essence, by peace she means Ukrainian capitulation. This is acceptable to Ukraine, obviously. Ukraine needs real security guarantees.
Everything related to the talk about peace that we hear from Western officials is all lies. It will only become true when they stop using aggressive rhetoric and illegal aggressive actions, like supplying weapons to the Kyiv regime.
I am absolutely sure if the Russians did not have nuclear weapons, we would have been in Ukraine, kicking them out. But they have nuclear weapons, so it's not the same as in Afghanistan. Chair of the NATO Military Committee, Rob Bauer.
I'm absolutely sure if the Russians did not have nuclear weapons, we would have been in Ukraine, kicking them out. We would have. But they have nuclear weapons, so it's not the same as in Afghanistan.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.